when I returned back to the court, I would go on my own and try to get some reps and stuff. And I just felt like I wasn't the player I was before my injury or before the surgery. And it was just very disheartening. And I just didn't even want to try.
Today on the show, I'm talking with former high school volleyball standout and the current head volleyball coach at Sul Ross State University. Hollie King is up next. Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Sandy Adams, and this is where we dive deep into the world of sports, talking with retired athletes, current athletes, and everyone that helps make the sports world great. A quick reminder, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the show. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Audible, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, if you love what you hear, take a screenshot of this episode, share it on Instagram stories, tag us at 5THQRT Podcast so more folks can discover these stories. Now grab your iced tea or your coffee, get ready to be motivated and inspired, because this is where the real stories are told. From the volleyball courts of Mesquite, Texas, to leading an NCAA Division II program, today's guest has spent her life proving that passion, perseverance, and purpose can take you farther than you ever imagined. As a standout player at North Mesquite High School, she earned first-team All-District honors, was named Defensive Player of the Year, helped lead her team to a district championship, and continued her career at Eastfield College before an ACL injuries changed her path. She turned that setback into a calling, founding A+ Athletics, helping more than 100 student athletes earn college opportunities, climbing through the coaching ranks, and is the new head women's volleyball coach at Sul Ross State University in West Texas. Today, we'll talk about her journey, the highs and lows of an athletic career, leadership, resilience, building winning cultures, the growth of volleyball, and why an athlete's greatest impact often begins after the final whistle. I couldn't be more excited to welcome to the show Hollie King.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You are quite welcome. We've been working on this. I just want to give a shout out to James Fisher Jr. He was in a previous episode a couple of months ago. I found you through his Instagram post. You had liked it or commented on it, something, and I went and researched you. And you've also talked with the head volleyball coach at Memphis, Cherie Lindsay, who was the previous guest on here. So I love keeping these connections going and just learning more about the sport of volleyball. Cherie was the first one that I've had on here that's been in volleyball. So you'll be the second. And I'm excited about that, to learn more about volleyball itself and just dive into your story. As I said, you grew up in Mesquite, Texas.
Yes.
Which is kind of, it's I want to say east of Dallas, correct?
About 30 minutes east of Dallas, yeah.
Okay. So what were you like as a child? Like, what was that growing up in Mesquite, Texas for you?
I was very shy and reserved. I don't think anybody could get a word out of me unless I was at a family function with my cousins, just cutting it up. That was the only time I was talking. And then, as a kid, I was involved in drill team, taekwondo, and then later got into other sports as I got older. But I had I would say a normal childhood, but I would say there was definitely challenges and setbacks. I did develop, or I was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 5 and to about 14. So with having a normal childhood, like going to your friend's house, having to have sleepovers, like I still was able to have that experience. Sure. But, at the age of 12, I was still sleeping with the baby monitor. So that was the not so normal part of things. But other than that, I was just a very shy, quiet, reserved kid.
So I read that you had your first episode seizure at 5 years old.
Yes.
What do you remember about that, or what have your parents shared with you about that night?
It's crazy because, they say you don't really remember your episodes. But I remember that night just waking up confused. I think I fell asleep in the living room, and they took me to the ER. And I remember I had one of the nurses there, he just made it fun for me. He didn't make it scary. He was like rushing me through the hallways on the
Right.
stretcher, just like getting me some popsicles and stuff and just making me feel really comfortable. But it was definitely very scary. I had grand mal seizures. I know they don't necessarily call it that anymore. But after those episodes, I'd be like paralyzed for quite some time, just
Wow.
couldn't walk. It just took a lot out of you and took your energy away. And so that's really all I could remember from that episode. And from that time to 14, I just remember having dizzy spells all the time. So like even going through elementary school, walking to class, I would just get dizzy and fall down, or I couldn't necessarily go to the playground all the time
Right.
because I was having a bad day. And that was just kind of what
You
I
said
remember
unt
from that.
you said until you were 14. Did you have any seizures after 14?
No, just one day they just went away. I'm very grateful because
Oh,
that is
yes.
not very common. Every once in a while I'd have like absent seizures where it's kind of like you're daydreaming.
Right.
Uh, but the dizzy spells went away, and the seizures at night went away. I think they never really found like a true meaning of like why it
Right.
happened. It was just they said I was stressed or I was just overworked, and I'm like, what 5-year-old or kid is that
I
stressed to
know,
cause
right?
seizures? But there's so many factors that can go into that. So I'm just thankful I don't have that
Well,
anymore.
exactly, exactly. That is great news. How did volleyball come into your life? You talked about being on the drill team, but when did volleyball really enter your life?
Yeah, so middle school came around. I didn't even really, that was like the first time ever touching a volleyball. I never even really looked into volleyball. I remember we were in athletics and they were trying to see who was going to play volleyball, who's going to play basketball. So they were like, if
Right.
you're going to play volleyball, go over here and sit down. And I didn't get up and go over there. I was, like I said, I was very shy. My coach at the time, Coach Manning, she pulled me and she was like, no, you're playing. And I'm like, okay. Like, I just like in my shy voice, I was like, no.
Did you ever ask her why she felt the need to pull you into volleyball?
I feel like I was her favorite student.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I I was a teacher's pet. Like I was very shy, and so like I said, they always would joke with me about it and try to get me out of my shell. And so like I just naturally I was just um created a bond right off the bat with Coach
Right.
Manning. So uh but yeah, she pulled me, she said I'm playing. I think I was on the C team or something. Like I said, volleyball did not come, it was not natural to me. But I ended up loving it. I haven't stopped playing since. So
What did you love about it so much?
I feel like it was just my safe space and my element when I was on the court. I wasn't the shy kid when I was on the court. I was very vocal. I was having fun. I was just able to just be my true self. And even like when I'm on the court, like I don't even hear the sidelines
Interesting.
or people in the stands. Like it's just me in the game. And so I feel like escaping from all the hardships and
Sure.
everything, um, and just all the things that I went through. I feel like it was just my outlet.
So I read that you were told that you would never be playing on a varsity team because of your seizures. When did that
Yes.
happen specifically?
Before I went into high school, I was told they didn't think I would play in high school, let alone even at the collegiate level. And I just wanted to prove them wrong.
Right.
Uh, I was always a hard worker, and despite the challenges and stuff, like nothing was gonna stop me. Like I just wanted to keep going, and I'm glad I did.
Well, I'm sure everybody is glad that you did. One of the things, did you stop doing anything else? Was it just volleyball, or did you continue any other sports?
Yeah, so I played in middle school. Back in the day, we had to play everything. So I was in basketball. I was in track. I was not fast at all. I was a horrible runner. Still to this day, I'm a horrible runner. And they always say volleyball players can't run, and that's true. We can sprint. That's about it.
Sure.
But even in basketball, like I was aggressive in basketball, and that's not my personality at all. Like when we were get into, I think I had like the most steals from girls because I was just aggressive and
Right.
ripping the ball out of their hands. And they were like, who is this girl? Like that is not Hollie. Like, and then outside of that, I'm like this sweet, shy, like innocent girl.
Right.
But I think it just, like I said, whether it was on the field during drill team or on the court, basketball, volleyball, I was just in a different zone and different mentality.
When did you realize that you were really good at volleyball? All right, before we get into the next topic, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about something that can really help you level up your personal brand. I've created an exclusive new book called The Visionary Personal Brand Playbook. It's perfect for those of you who have big goals but aren't exactly sure how to make your brand stand out, or for that matter, where to even start. It's packed with actionable tips that you can start using right now, today. If you're interested, head over to my website at sandy-adams.com/playbook and grab your copy. Now back to the show.
I think as I got older, especially going into my sophomore year and just growing my confidence, and not only on the court, but outside of the court as well, I was becoming more vocal. I was becoming even a better volleyball player. I had to get tons of reps just to develop. I think volleyball is definitely a skills game. You have to have it's very technical as well. And I was a natural like athlete. Like I could kick a ball, I could hit a ball, everything like that. But with volleyball, it's just so much more that just goes into it. Having to, um, you know, play with others, communicate, and
Right.
like you're having to make decisions in like 0.5 seconds and all that good stuff. But as I got older, I just felt like I became more mature in my body. And
Right.
when you're young, you're growing, and like you look like a giraffe out there basically. And some players, I mean, gosh, kids nowadays are starting so young, and I feel like it happens for them overnight, and some kids
Yeah.
they have to work really hard at it. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
At what point did you start getting recruited, or did you start getting recruited by colleges?
So I really didn't even think I was gonna play at the collegiate level. I didn't have like a recruiting journey.
So
Um,
let me stop and ask one question. So you're
okay.
let's say you're a sophomore in high school. What were you even thinking about your plans after high school at that point?
I wasn't.
Okay. Most
I was
people are not.
I was very much acting my age. And I didn't even know what I wanted to do at that point in time, career wise, or even
Right.
if I could go to college. I didn't have the best grades, and my parents weren't educated on the whole recruiting process, and that's okay. A lot of parents aren't educated. It's a lot.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah. So, um, and I didn't play club growing up. It really wasn't as popular as it is now, or as
Yeah.
evolving as it is now. So yeah, I really didn't have that journey. And when I went to be recruited, it was just kind of a mutual contact kind of thing. My coach
Right.
knew somebody, and they just got me in contact.
So what was it the decision, or did Eastfield, did they contact you, or did you contact them?
So they contacted my coach, and my coach let me know that, hey, Eastfield is looking. You should go and try out. Gave me the dates and times and the contact, and I showed up and tried out. I actually tried out with one of my former teammates, and we went together, and we both made the team. So that's
And is Eastfield right outside of Dallas also?
Yes. Well, it's technically in Mesquite, it's just Dallas County.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, so you were close to home, so you weren't getting that away from home experience necessarily. What was that first game like when you played for them?
Ooh, it was electric. Like I just loved the environment. We had all the other sports at our games cheering us on. And even though I like tone them out and I have tunnel vision, like I said,
Right.
it's just, it was just an exciting atmosphere, just to be able to play at home um, and, going back, living, close by.
Right.
And I didn't really have that college experience, getting to stay in the dorms and be away from home. I I never really got a chance to get out of my comfort zone. I always kind of stayed
Yeah.
in the room. So
So you did tear your ACL, and
yes,
that was your freshman year.
yes,
When did that happen, and what was kind of the situation that brought that about?
yeah. So my freshman year, I was having a great season. I earned the starting libero position, and I was, having a successful season with it wasn't even halfway through the season. I was already at 285 digs, and so I think it was our pink out game. And towards the end of the game, my knee went left
Oh,
and I went
oh,
right,
oh, that makes me hurt.
and I just knew that was it. Like from seventh grade to that point,
Hmm.
my knee would always pop in, pop out towards the end of the season. I know it's a little crazy, but and so like I would go to rehab and the trainer at school and, basically put in a band-aid on it and I'm good to go. I'd be on
Right,
crutches for a little bit. So me
right.
and crutches are very familiar with each other. Um, they used to call me Hopalina because I was always on crutches. Um, and I'd even decorate my crutches. They had at Eastfield, I had pink crutches. I put duct
Oh
tape
my
around them.
God. Okay, that's funny.
Um, but during that time, it was very devastating. Like, so after um, that, I even tried to get back up and play again, like put some pressure on it, and I just couldn't. I think that was just the adrenaline
It
going
was,
through
yes,
me.
yes.
And so I sat on the bench and just, they finished out the game, just had to sit there and cheer them on and be the best team that I could at that time with
Right.
just all the emotions. And then later I went to the ER to get it checked out. They sent a referral over to the orthopedic, and we just decided that it was time to kind of stop putting band-aids on it and
Right.
get it back to, you know, get it all tied up.
Did you try to rehab it and come back to play volleyball?
Yeah, so after surgery, like even the day after surgery, I was trying to walk. Like I was so devastated and I was so determined to just get back to it. Even though they said I shouldn't be walking or anything, I was just like, I'm gonna try. I couldn't put pressure on it. And then I did go to physical therapy. That was brutal. It was so painful. And at that time, I was young. I was still an adult, but I just didn't take
Sure.
physical therapy as serious as I should have. I did end up finishing it, but when I returned back to the court, I would go on my own and try to get some reps and stuff. And I just felt like I wasn't the player I was before my injury or before the surgery, and it was just very disheartening. And I just didn't even want to try. I didn't really, I had support. Like, I had my parents who would take me to practice and,
Right.
all the good stuff, but like support comes in so many different ways.
It
And
does. It
so
does.
I
It
didn't
does.
have that support mentally, and I didn't have that motivation, like, or someone that would believe in me. Like, if I said, I'm done, then they're like, okay, like there's no like, hey, you got this kind of thing.
Right. Right.
And I just felt like that's what was missing for me to get back to
Do you
that.
think just listening to you talk and because I've had a lot of athletes on here that have suffered injuries that have ended their careers too. Um, do you think it was more of the mental aspect that couldn't get you back more so than the physical aspect.
Yes, absolutely. I just felt like even though like I was cleared to play, but then I knew it was going to take some time to get
Mm,
back, and it was just very discouraging every time I go dig for a ball. Like
yeah.
it was painful, and I knew it was going to hurt, but it's just like I just felt like giving up at that time, and like I just didn't. I was just ready to kind of just walk away from it at the time. Just
And it that is a common theme too that I hear from other athletes. It's almost like you're living in the moment and you need something else to motivate you because it's hard enough. You're going through all of this, and I would think it's hard enough to have to deal with that every day and all the emotions that come with having to be take it slow and go through surgery and go through all the pain and all the rehab and um I think as humans it's hard enough for us to go through life normal, right?
right.
And then you add that on to it and it's even harder to
Yeah,
push yourself. And
absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and you were what, 20, 18, 19, 20?
19, yeah,
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like God truly gives his like toughest battles to the strongest soldiers.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's way of God saying to just like sit down and be still. Um, and I wish, saying that now that I would have just kept going instead of just like learning how to instead of just slowing down and stopping, just
Right.
slowing down, taking a breath, and then get back up and keep going. And I feel like athletes nowadays recover so much faster just with all the resources that are
They do.
available
They
as
do.
well. And um, I mean, there are still some athletes who, I mean, have career-ending injuries,
Mm.
but it's becoming, just a lot less common. And
I think, from what I see more so in over the past few years, more colleges, especially Division 1, but I think Division 2 and Division 3 are really starting to do that as well. Strength and conditioning and learning about how you can prepare the human body and
yeah,
help it recover quicker.
right.
I think that helps cut down on those injuries. And then, I've listened to so many people, and Penny Hardaway is our basketball coach at Memphis, and he's talked about, you know, he did not take the time to recover from his injuries. And he never really fully recovered. And if he had only taken, extra time after one or two of those, he may have stayed and been able to play at a higher level for a few years longer. And if you
Right.
look at LeBron James, the amount of money that he puts into keeping his body ready physically and mentally, that says a lot. But you look at all these high schools, these middle schools, and there's not a lot of resources and it's not a lot of education depending on who the coaches are. And they're
Yep.
just trying to do their job. And the
Right.
coaching is not their main job in high school or middle school.
Right.
And it just there's a lot of factors that go into that. So your injury, you decided to stop playing volleyball,
Yep.
and that's what we call going into your fifth quarter. Now walk us through, like, what was that first year after the surgery and the rehab for you?
So, um, after that, after stepping away, um, I ended up, just taking a different path. I ended up getting married, and then I had two children, Skylar and Chandler, who are 11 and 8. Uh, and then I ended up getting a divorce, so I just decided to focus on me and my children. And I went back to school, and I was doing lessons. Lord bless my shoulder. I was doing a lot of lessons just to be able to get back to volleyball. Uh, and then, so yeah, I was kind of just taking my own path and just wanting more for my children. They deserve it. So
So
That's
at what point did you decide that you wanted to get into coaching?
I wanted to be back in my element, which is
Mhm.
the court, and I wanted more for these young women and to take my experiences of what I've learned and carry it on to these student athletes
Right.
and just help them develop not just as athletes, but athletically, academically,
Right.
personal, and just help them prepare for life. And, they may be young and not take advice like I did back in the day, but it is my job just to guide them and give them the best opportunity and help them reach their fullest potential. And that's something that's really meaningful and fulfilling to me as a coach.
And people see the highlight players, they see the stars, and but those aren't the majority of the athletes out there. The majority of the athletes are everyday men and women, boys and girls that come from all different types of homes in all different types of areas of the country and have all kinds of issues that they have to deal with growing up. It's hard
Right,
enough growing up as it is with all the other things that come into that. And I think that it's important to kind of say that your story is not it's not out of the ordinary. It is
right,
very much a common story. It may not be the exact details, but it's very much a common story for so many young girls out there.
right.
Um, so
And I feel like, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And just going off of that, I feel like everyone's journey is different. We're all going to go through hardships, and mine might not be so like traumatic or, life ending or um, just this huge story, but others, you know, mine might be small compared to someone else's. So I
Sure.
feel like just everyone's always going through something, you never know. And it's just what you do with those hardships to persevere and have that learn that resiliency and keep pushing forward. So
It's very true. And, I think a lot of people, they don't have some big moment that changes their direct trajectory of their life. I
right,
think it's little bitty things that they have to deal with and figure out, where do I go with it? It's almost like a pinball machine.
right.
You don't know, like you have to make choices with whatever's presented to you at the moment,
Absolutely.
and then figure out. And for young women specifically, I think it is difficult, especially if you don't always have a lot of the support around you growing up and doing those things. When how did becoming a mother change your perspective on life?
Becoming a mother, um, well, I guess changed the way I coach too. Um, just it's given me more empathy and perspective, and I still have high expectations because I believe in preparing my athletes for success, and I
Right.
also recognize that every player is someone's daughter, and I
Sure.
want them to know that they're valued beyond volleyball, and I care about who they become as a woman, and just as much as they perform, how they perform on the court as well.
So when you had they're what, 3 years apart in age?
Yes.
You said 8 and 11. Um, what did you see as your dream for your life after your second child was born?
Like I said, I really didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I just knew that I wanted volleyball to be a part of it,
Right.
and I just wanted to have a better life for my children.
Mm.
And I was, you know, didn't have all the resources, but I just, persevered over everything and just gave them the life that I wanted them to have and that they deserve. And yeah, I just want them to know that like whatever you go through, like there's gonna be speed bumps and all
Right. Right.
this. things that get in your way, but if you want something, you can have it. You just got to work really hard, and that goes to show just like my worth ethic in the game as well as life. Like I'm gonna keep working hard until I get what I want.
Um, so just so that I understand correctly, when you decided to leave college and you stepped away from playing volleyball, did you at any time play volleyball in any capacity until you picked up coaching?
No, like I said, I was just doing private lessons with
Okay,
anywhere from like 6-year-olds to
right.
uh collegiate age. But yeah, I didn't pick up a volleyball. I just kind of went down my new path. So
So when did your first coaching experience happen and how did it come about?
so other than just the lessons, I started off with club with slam volleyball. I was coaching 13-year-olds. That taught me a
Bless
lot
your
of
heart. Bless
that
your
taught
heart.
me a lot of patience. That's when they get into the girl drama and all that good stuff. Lord bless them.
Bless your heart.
Yes. Um, and then I had got a coaching job at Alpin Montessori school, and I was working with fifth graders. Bless my heart even more. But that was a fun group. And then I was at the high school level. Um, I actually love coaching at the club and high school level. I feel like it's the purest form of athletics and just seeing the joy that they have. But um, yeah.
So when did you take your first coaching job at a college?
So I got the opportunity to coach at Dallas Christian College. That was my first opportunity as an assistant coach.
Right.
Uh, Me and another coach who was named the head coach, we took over mid-season. They had already gone through two coaches before we got there, so really had to dive in and learn everything really quickly. As far as like the back end of things, recruiting,
Right.
admissions, um, everything that um, is not coaching. So,
I know Cherie, we were talking about, and she said that was one of the shocks that came was all the other things that the coaches have to do that the players really have no idea how it gets done and don't really care. Um,
absolutely. I think everywhere I go, so like if nobody knows volleyball or coaching in general, they're like, so you just coach, you don't teach or
no.
anything like that. I'm like, okay, I am a counselor, I am a nurse at time or
Right.
trainer, I'm doing travel plans or compliance and recruiting and
Yes. Yes.
all the A through Z.
And
So
handling the parents in some form or
yes.
fashion.
Yes. At
We
the collegiate level, I don't touch on the parents as much. I still do just because I am very family oriented and relationship
right.
driven, but I don't deal with the parents as much just because you're adult at that level.
We hope they are.
We try to push them the best we can.
So at Dallas Christian, what was the hardest aspect that you learned from coaching?
Um, just having to learn the players very quickly, especially in the middle of the season, and getting
Yeah,
them to trust you and
right,
buy in and know that you got your back because they've already had coaches, walk away
right.
um, from them in a important time of their life. And I feel like there's so many other factors and obstacles that they're already going through. So um, it feels good to just be able to walk into that situation and know that players can come up to you and just kind of share it all. Um, they felt really comfortable with me as soon as I got there, which made me really feel great. Um, I don't think, they had someone that believed in them. And so
Right.
you definitely have to just build their confidence and get them to play for each other and get them to play for you and just give them a good experience and not take
Mhm.
that joy away from them.
What was so after when did so let's talk about A Plus Athletics because that is
Okay.
an organization that you founded.
Yeah.
What is A plus athletics, and when did you decide, and why did you decide to start that?
Yeah. So, basically just college preparation and recruiting coordinator. I felt like there was a need. I met so many talented athletes who had the ability to play in college but didn't understand the recruiting process, and they didn't have someone guiding them.
Sure.
So I wanted to create a resource that educated athletes and families while helping them find the right fit and institution that was best for them, not just athletically, but academically as
Right.
well. It wasn't always about just earning scholarship, but it was opening doors and changing lives through education and volleyball. I was going on college tours myself, just learning about different colleges, admissions
Well, that's
process.
pretty cool,
Yeah,
though.
I was just going to different divisions, different campuses, learning the environment. So that way, when these athletes come to me or their families come to me, I can be like, well, I've been to this location. I can tell you about this area and the
Right.
demographics and just the academics and everything. And just making sure I was basically doing the broken leg test for them. And then I was also taking them to camps and different like overnight stays. Like I took a group of athletes to the SFA camp, and so they got the college
Okay.
experience.
SFA is
Stephen F.
okay.
Austin.
Okay. I
Yes.
knew it,
I
but I
apologize.
knew it. I just want to make sure everybody else did.
Yes, yes. They're Division 1 out in Nacogdoches, Texas, and so they got to experience like the college life and stay in the dorms, and so just creating those experiences and getting them seen,
Right.
and then just helping them. Like I was helping them send out emails, and then I was helping them learn how to make their own emails. I get
Right.
I get a lot of emails that are,
They
they can
don't
need
teach
some.
that in they don't teach that in school. They do not teach that in
No,
high
they need
school
a
at
little
all.
guidance.
No, they don't. They don't.
um, so and then also like my packages included like private lessons and stuff. So I was developing them um, with their skills and stuff like that, and evaluating, helping them create highlight films and all that good stuff.
So do you still do that? Because do you focus on just the people that are around wherever you live, or do you do it like could they be in another part of the country? Obviously, you can't go with them and take them places, but is it just regulated to the area around where you're living currently?
No, I was in all states. I was even um, helped one of my players get recruited. She was living in Oregon. She actually
Wow.
went to Oregon State and then one in Wisconsin. So I was just, oh, and then, my packages looked a little different if they were out of state just because I
Sure.
wasn't able to do lessons or anything with
Sure.
them. But I'd help them find resources like the right camps to go to that weren't just money grabbers, that were
Right.
actually beneficial for them and their families. Um, and yeah, but
I,
I did end up stepping away and selling my business just because when
okay.
I got to the collegiate level, I was kind of, I'm already recruiting and stuff
Conflict of
like
interest. I get that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I get that.
absolutely.
I
So
am curious, did at what was the years that you were doing this? Because I'm interested about the social media and what high school students are kind of doing now in regards to social media and using that to get recruited.
yeah, so I founded it in 2020, right when COVID happened, just because there was nothing going on, and I was
Right.
just researching and figuring out what I could do more. Uh, and then I ended up selling around 2024, right when
Right.
before I stepped into my head coaching position. Uh, but as far as like social media, are you just asking like how like their process is going or like their recruiting or?
Well, how did what I see is I see some players that have like an Instagram account, but they don't put any of their details in their bio, and they'll have
Okay.
like four pictures posted on their Instagram account and it's private, and I'm like, how do you think college coaches are going to find you if they don't
Yes.
know anything about you?
Yes, absolutely. I see that all the time. And I post on social media quite often. I'm trying to be more consistent and posting more information, but I'm always putting out recruiting advice. I don't like to gatekeep. I feel like,
Sure.
I want to help everybody succeed. But I do see that. So, like, if you're going to have a volleyball Instagram, you need to make it public. I would suggest having your first and last name, not like a nickname or anything, because
Exactly.
when we search you, we're not going to look up Sky
I
or
know.
KK or whatever the names are. And then have your grad year. You can even put your height, even if you're 5'2". And then don't lie about your height a lot.
Right.
So when I'm recruiting and I've had these conversations, I'm like, are you 6'2" or is that your volleyball height? Because we can tell in person. I'm pretty good. I feel like I have like a tape measure in my head at all times. Like I can pinpoint if you're five
How
nine.
tall are you?
I'm 5'6". So
Okay. But I mean, yeah, you're right. After you look at enough people, you can
yeah.
kind of gauge how tall somebody is.
Yes, I get all the time. So when I'm out and I'm like, oh, I'm a college coach, and they're like, well, you're pretty short. I'm like, I thought I was 6 foot. What are you talking about? Like, I play big, but that's just the misconception of just there's a lot of
Sure.
undersized
Sure.
players nowadays. It's just like how athletic are you? Um, but I didn't have to worry about jumping too much, so I stayed from curb level. But yeah, I think on social media too, a lot of players will try to like send their Instagram clips in their email, and a lot of times that clip on Instagram is very small, so we can't see
Yeah.
it. So we always suggest like having a huddle or your field level or university athlete. All those services are free. I know there's like you can purchase more if you want more
Right.
out of the app,
Right.
but there are free versions or YouTube is free. So
Well, yeah.
so
What do you think parents misunderstand the most about the college recruiting process?
whew, that's a good question. I think many parents believe it's only about how talented their
Mm,
child is.
yeah.
And talent definitely matters, but coaches are looking at the intangibles, how they treat their teammates, how they treat their
Yes.
parents. I've had coaches tell me that they stopped recruiting a kid because they asked their parent to go fill up their water bottle. They didn't do it themselves. Yes,
But it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about the person. Those little bitty
yes,
details do.
absolutely, and just how they are on the sidelines. Like a lot of um, coaches, we only get time to watch you, warm up, or if you're on the sideline and you don't play. But how are you as a teammate? Are you putting the team first and not just like we watch your body language? How are you shrugging and just kind of rolling your eyes on the
Right.
sideline? We also recruit parents. Like if the parents is like yelling at the ref or yelling at the coach,
I've had
we're,
so many coaches say
yeah,
that they watch the parents also.
yes. Yeah. And I'll sit right next to the parent. I don't just stand behind them and watch. I'm sitting right next to them because and first of all, my feet hurt from standing all day. And second of all, I just want to know what they're saying.
Exactly. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. So what made you decide to leave Dallas Christian and where did you go next?
The opportunity came about to coach at Wesleyan College in Macon, Georgia. That was my first head coaching position, and I wanted to coach at the highest level and coach in the NCAA. So I just took the opportunity and said yes.
And that was the first time you'd lived outside of Texas, correct?
It was quite the adjustment that um was definitely challenging and kind of I was very, anxious and nervous, but I had to get out of my comfort zone. I feel like it was just being able to see life in a different perspective and
Sure.
getting out to where you're familiar with. Um, and so it definitely helped me grow personally, and just in life in general.
What was the so what attracted you to that college?
I feel it was just the opportunity to build something there and leave lasting memories and just be the first to be a part of something. And then
Did they have
just
volleyball there already?
they
Okay.
did.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I started there, I didn't, I didn't have the finished product. I had to start with the foundation and then slowly build the empire. Uh,
So for people out there, what do you mean by the foundation?
just as far as the culture
Mm,
and getting the community to buy in, I feel like, and then recruiting the right students for
right.
Wesleyan. Wesleyan College is different. It's not for everybody, but it is for some. And just finding those right student
Sure.
athletes who wanted to be part of it. I think um, when you're building something and you're recruiting, you know, athlete's going to look at the record as soon as, when
Yes.
they're researching a school. And when you're having those conversations with them, be like, you're going to be the first to be able to be part of something new and
Right.
you could have the chance to put banners on the wall. And it's just all about relationships as well, just creating those long lasting relationships and leaving the program better than
Yes.
where it
Yes.
started. So
Yes. You were there just under 2 years, but you did a whole lot. So,
yes.
as I learned, well, I already know that there's a difference between beach volleyball and court volleyball. I do know that.
Yes.
Um, but why? So, you started a beach volleyball program at Wesleyan, correct?
Yes.
What was the motivation to do that? I mean, you're coming in as the head coach and you've got a regular volleyball team, and then you want to start an additional volleyball team that's just beach. What
Yes.
was the motivation for that?
So, well, President Megan Blight, she is doing an amazing job at Wesleyan College, just with her leadership and the way she's just pouring into athletics.
Right.
And she told me, she was like, "Hey, I want to add another sport. Would you start the beach program for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I had never played beach before. I never coached beach, so I did a lot of research and just studying and learning the game. It's different.
It's Cherie gave me a
It's
lesson in how different it was, which I didn't even think about. Yes.
Yes, there is a quite a lot of different rules. Like I can't even coach in a game. Like I can't say it's in or out, nothing. And that was really hard for me.
Oh, that's
Like,
crazy.
yes, because it's a player-led sport. You have 30 seconds to talk to them every 7 points, like when it's accumulated every 7 points. So if one side had five, the other side had two, then we switch sides, but you get 30 seconds to talk to them and you
Okay,
can't even
that's
really pull them off
just
the court.
crazy. That's
Yes.
just crazy.
All the officials would be like, "Coach, you're not supposed to say anything." I was like, I put a clipboard over my face, like, I don't know what you're talking about. But beach, it was just a great experience. And truly, I loved it. But President Megan White, she gave me the opportunity to run with it both indoor and beach.
Right.
And I told her I could do it. And it was a great environment. Everybody loved it. The community loved the beach program. I tell you, it was just electric. Even with indoor, I think they've never seen the stands filled at Wesleyan College, but volleyball had the most in the stands out of all
That's
sports, and it was just a fun environment. And even like in beach, they had all their lawn chairs out, and the music was going because you can play music the whole time
I
during
know
beach,
it's just
and it's
crazy.
just chill. So, but yeah, she's pouring into athletics there, and she just really just gave me all the tools and resources and support, and just said, "Hey, run with it." So I um, had a lot of success, and I was really proud of all the accomplishments there. So
So I just want to, because you wrote down some of them. So you recruited one of the largest classes in school history. Was
yes.
that just for regular volleyball, or was it for both regular and beach or court and beach?
So that was just for indoor. A lot of my players were crossover players. Some of them didn't play
Ah,
beach. So while I was building it, I was just having like my indoor
sure.
because I wanted to gain that experience and knowledge on beach program before bringing in beach players, just to
Oh,
be
I
able to give
gotcha.
them 100%
Right,
of, to help them grow.
right.
And I didn't want to take nothing away from them in their experience of beach. But so when I got there in June of 2024, I only had 6 players that I was inheriting.
Oh my
And
God.
all you need is 6 on the floor. So,
When was
but
your first game going to happen?
it was mid-August.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Or no, it was late August, somewhere in that time.
Still, that's like
But
6 weeks.
yes, so I was able to recruit 2 within that middle of the summer. And D3, it's we don't have athletic scholarships, so it's just mainly on academics. So finding that
Right.
right fit, and was able to get them some academic scholarships. And so it just worked out. That was a great team. They had a lot of hardships, just as being a small team,
Right.
a fresh team is going to outwork a tired team, even though they were in shape. They were very conditioned. But everywhere we go, even officials or parents from other teams, they commended them every time we would go out for a away game, just how they were as teammates and how they were scrappy and they never gave up. And
Right.
that's just they represented Wesleyan in
Sure.
just a great way. And I commend them for getting through that. I mean, we even took sets from teams with just 6 players sometimes. Like my libero had to play all the way around at one point. So you can imagine a 5 foot libero at the front row. I mean, there was only so much we could do, but it just everybody like when the officials would say like they've been watching these teams forever because in Georgia volleyball is growing but it's small, so a lot
Right.
of officials will see the same teams for years, and they were like, this team just looks like they're having fun and
Oh,
having a good experience, and like they never seen that from Wesleyan College, so that just really meant more to me than just the overall like wins.
sure. Okay, so what made you decide? Because you left Wesleyan and you went to Sul Ross State, which is hard for me to say. So you go from Georgia to West Texas,
Yes.
Southwest Texas, I want to say. So
Yeah.
so how did that opportunity come about? Were you looking for it, and what made you decide to do it?
Yeah, so I didn't think I would go back to Texas so soon. I ended up loving the Southeast and just Georgia in general. Um, made like my true family out there. Like I created my own family and found my home church and everything out
Right.
there. Like me and my pastor are basically sisters, and I
Oh,
cherish that. We talk every week. But what made me make that decision to step in to move out to Alpine to West Texas and to take this opportunity is just another challenge to build a program from the ground up. Um, the university is at an exciting time right now with they were in the provisional 3 year time to transition to Division II in the Lone Star Conference.
mhm.
And the Lone Star Conference has been around since 1931, and it's one of the strongest, most competitive Division II conferences ever. And so that really excited me for that. I necessarily wasn't looking. I was just, the opportunity came and I just decided like to go for it. It was um, hard to step away from Wesleyan just because I've created just lifelong like
Right.
those relationships. But in order to grow, I had to definitely make that next step, and I think I was ready for it. It's definitely, it is scary at times just being a head coach at the one of the strongest conferences and the next level, just because there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of eyes on you. And sorry, my computer went. um, and so like every little thing you do, every decision you make, is solely on you, and you're responsible for the student athletes. And but I'm excited to be here. Um, and
Did they
just being able
did
to, oh, go ahead.
did they already have a volleyball program?
They did, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they were Division 3, but they were in their provisional years,
Right.
and
Right.
so they're um, transitioning to get that full membership, which is coming fairly soon. Um, but I'm just excited to be able to work with some of the best coaches in the game. Just being in the same room as them is, I'm just grateful for that, and to compete against amazing athletes. I think like most of these teams have nationally ranked athletes, and
Right.
half of these teams, even majority of these teams, can win a national championship. And we have 18 in our conference, so it's pretty big. That's including us. So, and it's only growing. But yeah, I think what they're building here, I think Dr. Amanda Workman is doing an amazing job with the program and the leadership. She has, um, you know, just working alongside her and having her support us and getting these sports to where they need to be and where they're going is just really exciting. And so, yeah.
I want to ask a question about Georgia. So
Okay.
I love the aspect of food because I think, so many cities have so many different kinds of food. What
Yes.
was the favorite food that you liked when you were in Georgia?
So my first time ever having shrimp and grits was in Georgia. And I had to
Which
step away
which
from,
which I would be surprised. I would think that would be New Orleans and not Georgia.
right. Yes. I actually did go to New Orleans a few years ago, and that was great. Just for the food. But yeah, shrimp and grits. I had to step away, even though my heart loved the grits, but it wasn't very. It didn't like me back, I guess.
Right. No, I get that.
Um, but yeah, that was a staple out in Georgia. I think every menu had grits everywhere you go, and I was like, I don't see that in Texas that often. But I mean, you see grits at like Waffle House and stuff. But and then there's like a wing place on every corner
Yeah.
in Macon, especially. So,
Yes.
but
So
yeah.
so let's talk about where you are now. It's near for those out there wanting to look it up. It's not very far from Marfa, Texas. So you are technically in Alpine, Texas. And to me, I look at it as it's just basically in the middle of nowhere
Yes.
because West Texas, especially the southern portion, there's a lot of open land everywhere.
There is. There is. When I was driving out here, so I made the drive from Georgia to Alpine. I didn't fly.
Bless your
Um,
heart. Can I just say that? I've driven across Texas by myself, and I
yeah.
know what that's like. Yes.
Yeah, so when I got here, so it's about like 2 hours from Midland or Odessa,
Yes.
where the oil fields are. That's where I think most people are familiar with. Um,
I will say this is probably before your time. Friday Night Lights, the TV series. I want to say it was filmed, I want to say outside of Austin, but it's based, or maybe it was filmed in Odessa, but it's
okay.
basically supposed to be around Odessa, Texas.
Okay. I
Have you?
think I maybe heard of it, but I would have to
That's
see.
okay. That's okay. It's a really good series and you should watch it. Okay.
Definitely will look
It's
into
been off
that.
for years, but it's a really, really good. And it's about Texas football, but it's basically set in like Odessa, Texas. And you get that feeling of this town in the middle of nowhere. So that's always what I think of when I think of West Texas. Okay. But
Oh, totally. No, it is definitely in the middle of nowhere. Like, but the scenery is so beautiful. Like when I was driving through and I got to, lose your service and through the
yes,
mountains. I didn't know Texas had mountains. I was like, this is my first time in West Texas. But we have a lot of wildlife. Like there's always deer or pigs on campus running around. I think I have like 10 to 15 on my morning walks. And so, and then just, it's a very community-based family
right.
oriented town. We have a farmers market every Saturday for like, and all the kids are out there with, and then just, they got the booth set up. They're selling their homemade little
Is
crochet
it
and
is it a really big? I mean, is it pretty big town?
No, you could blink and see the whole
Yeah.
town. Um, So, but yeah, there's not a lot to do. Like our closest Walmart is about an hour away. Um, we have some dollar stores and a Lowe's, which is like a Kroger's
Yeah.
market in town. Uh, but yeah, so we do have college rodeo. We're actually the birthplace of college rodeo, so that's something that
I may
students
hit you
can
up
do.
on that. So that's an interesting sport that I haven't looked at. So that I may hit you up for some referrals for future
Yeah,
guests.
yeah, absolutely. I hear it's an exciting thing that happens in town. And I'm looking forward to going to a rodeo out here. So I haven't rode any or ridden any horses out here. I did at Wesleyan College. We had an equestrian program, so I did some lessons, but
Right.
we'll see if I get back on a horse out in Texas. But
So
yeah, there. Go ahead.
so you mentioned the pigs. So everybody has this perception of Houston as like this oil place, and what people don't realize a lot is there's all these bayous that's why Houston flooded. But down in southern Houston, like halfway to Galveston, there's a lot of nature preserves. So we have a lot of, well, we, because they did then, a lot of wild pigs are in a lot of these nature preserves just running wild. And it's quite a thing. But the fact that they're running like close to the people is crazy
Yes.
too.
Yes. So when I was driving in, I seen them on the highway and I was researching them. I was like, are they aggressive? We gotta
Yes, they can be aggressive.
So I never see any in town, but this morning I was walking, and I seen one and I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, thank goodness it ran away. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
pigs can be like they can eat people. Like they can
Yeah.
be, especially female pigs, especially they've
Mhm.
had babies, they can be highly aggressive.
Yes.
So yes.
Absolutely.
Um, so when does your season start?
So we start August 28th. That would
So
be open
so
weekend.
so basically just under 2 months.
Yes.
So it's exciting. Have you finished all your recruiting? Do you have all your players?
Yeah, so I am recruiting quite a big team this season. I only got a couple more pieces to fill in, but I'm pretty much done. I do have a full team already, just kind of filling in the
Right.
some key quality pieces. But I'm definitely excited and ready to get started. I was able to work with some of the returners when I got here. They're about 2 months before they headed off for summer, and I'm just really excited about the culture they already have or like they want to have.
Right.
And just carrying that on into the new season. They're very self-driven and they hold each other accountable and they're self-accountable, and I don't have to tell them to, do anything. Like they just know like they want
Right.
more and they just want to be competitive and have a great experience. And I'm definitely on the same board. I feel like I just want to support them and give them the best um, years that they, you know, have at this time. So
So you, as a head coach, how do you balance pushing the athletes to be better, but also protecting their confidence?
yeah, I think athletes deserve honesty, and but they also deserve to know that you believe in them.
Mm,
And I can challenge a player because she knows I'm doing it because I want her to grow and I care about her, and not tear her down. I feel like volleyball is a game of mistakes, and I always tell my players, I'm like, hey, we're human. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna have bad
right.
days. And it's just how we push forward and having that next ball mentality. Like once that ball leaves our hands, there's nothing we can do about it except move on to the next point. And I feel like volleyball should have a last name and it should be mistakes because it's just part of the game. Like one team has to make more mistakes
Sure.
than the other to get the win. So, and even pro players make mistakes. I try to instill that, especially in the younger players too. They get so flustered and embarrassed when
Well,
they make
sure.
mistakes. And I'm like, mistakes are welcome in my gym. You gotta go through it to grow through it. So just supporting them mentally and not just tearing them down.
How has so if your players, if I ask your players to describe you in 3 words, what would you think they would say?
I feel like they would say I'm very supportive, I'm trustworthy, and I am competitive. Uh, just a funny story, like we were at a team bonding and it was just bingo, like the like you're doing the bingo off of like if someone is left-hander or they like coffee or whatever. And so as they're explaining the rules, I'm already marking down who has it. And by the time we stand up out of their chairs, I'm like, bingo. And they're like, dang, Coach Holly, you're competitive. I'm like, yeah, I was trying to win my daughter some candy. I don't care if it's volleyball or if it's bingo. I'm going to get the win. So
So if I can, so let's look back. So looking back at basically your career, your life up until now, was there one pivot or one decision or one conversation or one whatever that you feel really changed the trajectory of your life more than anything else?
I feel like it was, you know, just with the injury at the time, I thought like that was the worst thing that ever happened to
Right.
me. And I thought I had lost the future I had planned, even though I really didn't think I would be a coach, but just the future in general, just
Right.
nothing lined up. But I feel like it just redirected me and toward my true purpose. I feel like the world aligned to where I needed to be. And if I hadn't gone through that setback or other setbacks that
Right.
I've gone through in life, I don't know if I would have discovered my passion for coaching or mentoring or and just helping young women. And sometimes, things that kind of break your heart are gonna
Yes.
just prepare you to shape your purpose and just trusting God's plan and being patient and just keep going.
So who do you think believed in you before you fully believed in yourself? Is there one person?
Yeah, I feel like my kids always believed in me. They're always like, "Mom, you can do it."
I
Whether
love
it's
the fact that they motivate you. I love
yeah,
that.
yes, even if it's doing my daughter's hair, I'm not the best at hair. I couldn't even watch a YouTube video and do her hair, but she'd be like, "Mom, you can do it," or "Mom, you're just not doing it right, but we can try this way." Like she's
And
very
how old
motivated.
is she?
So
How old is she?
she'll be 9 next month.
Oh my God.
So I just feel like even though they're this size, like I look up to them as well because they're always just so positive and just pushing me to be better. And just, we kind of just piggyback off each other. I want better for them and they want better for me. Like I think even when she's at school, all her teachers are like, "Oh, she's always saying to her friends, my mom's a college coach and let's put her
Okay,
on the
that's gonna make
team."
me cry. So I want you to realize that she is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
She learned, and so did your son. They learned that from you
And
enough that they can give
I
it
feel like
back to you.
my son has gone through a lot with me. My daughter, she doesn't, just remember that
Right.
much, even though they're only 3 years apart, but they definitely gone through it and we've just learned together and um this career is very demanding and so they definitely have been trained to be coaches' kids. I'll take them along recruiting with me sometimes, or they'll go to camps and they'll just hang out in the coaches' lounge. But like, I always get compliments about like they're just so well behaved, and I'm like, that's just how it has to be. They have to you know go through it with me. So it's a journey
You have
together.
you have to do what you have to do, and and I look at it as those kids are getting an experience that a lot of kids don't get, and they're also learning not only from you or everybody else, but that there's so much out there and there's so much that they can do, and it's teaching them so many things that if they lived in a little bitty town and didn't have any other experiences would not make them who they are or who they're going to be. Um,
Yeah,
and some
absolutely.
people may say, well, they should be out playing or whatever. They're with you and
Yeah.
they're getting stuff they're getting to see things, they're getting to experience things.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And I think I get questions a lot like, how are they adjusting to the new environment or new schools and stuff? And uh, they love it. They've made best friends on the second day of
kids are
school.
resilient at that age. Like really they are. Now wait till they get to like 15 or 16.
Yeah,
I know
it's a
several
pushback.
coaches. I know several coaches who I know one he had two daughters and he had to wait to let one of them finish high school because it is more traumatic, I think, if they're in high school,
Yeah,
and having to uproot them then as well. Um,
yeah, definitely.
so what's part of being an athlete that you still miss?
I just miss competing. Um, every once in a while I'll jump in and just kind of play queens or something with my
Right,
team, but I try not to. Um, just because I try to take that player out of the coach.
right,
But I just miss being able to be with my teammates and have locker room fun, locker room talks. Not the losing at locker room talks.
right.
um, those weren't very fun. But just the experiences that I made while I was playing.
I am curious. I try to remember to ask this. What is your relationship with exercise? Do you work out or not?
Yeah, so I definitely try to I stay active. I try to lead by example. Like
Mm.
I want my players to see me just um always being, that example.
Right,
Um Early mornings, waking up, still disciplined, but at the end of the day, sometimes I even tell my players this, motivation is not going to be there every single day, but you have to be disciplined. And I I don't want to be that coach that just tells you something and I'm not doing it.
sure,
Like
sure.
go run, do a 50 burpees for what, or run the bleachers with a 50-pound weight, and the coach is like, I'm not doing that. Like I did that in my past. I'm like, yeah, but you have to. I feel like I get out there and show them how to do it or explain how to do it. I'm very technical and hands-on. I use a lot of
Right.
like metaphors and stuff like that and just different analogies. But I definitely stay active and try to. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm high school volleyball ready, but
Right,
I
right.
do. I do stay in shape and work out.
Well, and the reason for those listening that may be wondering why I asked that question is because I have a lot of athletes that I've had on the show have talked about how when they retired from competition, they had a hard time figuring out how to exercise again because they had been so conditioned to do certain things and there was always goals and things like that, and then suddenly they're on their own and they don't necessarily know what they it's like they don't it's not that they don't know how to work out, but they don't know what the purpose is. And then I've had some probably more so women that have talked about the the love and hate with exercise coming
Yes,
from their experiences doing their athletics. And so I'm always curious about, people that have played athletics for so long and just, what is your relationship with that is really what I was kind of getting into.
that's a great question because I feel like going through years of having someone tell you what
Right.
exercise to do and having a plan for you. And it's crazy because I can put a plan together all day for my players
Right.
to get the job done. But when it's coming time to me, it's like sometimes I walk in the gym, I'm just like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like what I don't have a plan sometimes. Sometimes I'll have a plan for the whole week
Right.
and still do it, but it is definitely challenging just to kind of make yourself do
Sure.
that. Um, like I said, it's easy for me to tell them to do it, but I want to do it because I want to know how it feels when they're doing it. So I definitely try to do similar volleyball
Right.
related workouts um, to be able to educate my players on how to do it as well.
I heard a quote from Serena Williams several years ago, which I use quite a bit in a lot of different things. She said there are days that she does not like to work out, but there is never a day that she wants to lose, or there's never a day that she feels like losing or something like that, because the repetitive every single day working out is going to ensure that, she's going to be winning more than losing. And I thought that was a great mentality to a great little thing there. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a thought provoking question. If you could sit down with 9-year-old Hollie yourself, what would you tell her?
Um, I would tell her to keep dreaming big, and not to be afraid of setbacks. Life isn't going to unfold kind of the way you think it will, and that's okay. The disappointments will eventually become opportunities, and even if they're scary opportunities, just say yes,
Right.
uh, and get out of your comfort zone. Don't care what people think. A lot of times when I was younger, I cared about what others thought
Yes.
of me,
Yes.
and that held me back from a lot of things. And I just tell her to trust God and keep working hard and remember that her worth is just never defined by a scoreboard or a title. Like I always tell my players, like you're more than just a volleyball player. And
Exactly.
a lot of these athletes, when they're done with their career, especially at the pro level, their identity is just volleyball. And
Hmm.
just getting these players at this level to understand, like find out what you love and what you want to do in life, because volleyball is not it doesn't define you. Like you're so
Right.
much more than that. So
Right.
just trying to instill that in everybody.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 flash fire Q&A questions. Okay, these are
Okay.
fun. Okay, beach volleyball or indoor volleyball?
Indoor volleyball, even though I gained a whole new appreciation for beach volleyball.
Favorite movie?
I had the blind side.
Okay. Favorite pregame hype song or artist?
Okay, you might laugh at me, but
That's okay.
back in the day it was Easy E, but now every before every game I have to listen to gospel.
Oh my God.
Yes, it changed.
Oh,
Tremendous, big jump.
but that's interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Iced coffee every single day.
Okay. One word your players would use to describe you.
Just supportive.
Okay. I like that. Where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. On Instagram, it's everything's underscore. It's Coach underscore Holly, and then another underscore, and then I'm on TikTok as well, trying to post some recruiting advice,
I'll have to
but
follow you on there.
I'll be more consistent with that.
I'll find you on there and follow you.
Yes, and then Twitter as well. So I try to hit all
I
platforms.
will put all of your handles in the show notes and on the video
Perfect.
for whoever's watching. Okay, so I'm so excited about your first season.
I
I
am
really
too.
am. And
I'm just itching to get started.
I'm sure you are. And I'll have to follow along and keep track of you and see how you're doing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great. I love what you're doing, and so you're doing an amazing job.
Well, it's been very enlightening. It gets a bit much sometimes, but I love finding out people's stories and just how they got from point A to point C, and everything in between. And I've met some really amazing people that I didn't even know, and it's just crazy. And I get a lot of comments about, different people found different things. My
Um,
listeners are not always athletes, although my family does not listen. I just want to say that. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you for watching and listening to the fifth quarter. And if you've made it all the way to this part of the show, I truly appreciate your support. As always, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or watch the show. My mantra is simple: like, share, and review. Be sure to follow us on social media at 5THQRT Podcast for updates on upcoming guests and episodes. Until next time, remember, change is our ally and it paves the way for greatness. Stay inspired. Have a great rest of the week.